everybody and welcome back to my booktube channel, Books with Leo, and today I am here again with another try a chapter video. But this time I thought I'd do a themed try a chapter video. Basically this is a video where I try a couple of chapters from different books and then I come back to discuss each chapter and like what I thought of the beginning of the book with you guys, and then at the end I pick a book to continue in. That's the basic idea. It's just a really fun way to me of discovering a new read and of figuring out what you want to read next. It's always really difficult for me to figure out what book to next pick up. I guess there's just too many options. There's just so many books to read in the world. Sometimes it stresses me out in a really weird way, but it also gives me a lot of comfort because I will never ever run out of stories to read in my entire lifetime, which is just a beautiful thing, I think. Hi everybody, before we continue with the video, today's video is being made possible by Book of the Month. So let's hear a word from our sponsor. So Book of the Month is a super popular and fast growing online book service for readers. It is their mission to promote new and emerging authors and to help readers discover books that they love. Their team goes through all the books out there and makes a curated selection of new and early releases. And this is perfect because then you don't have to do it yourself and you can spend less time researching and more time reading. I am super excited to be working with Book of the Month again, as they always have a great selection of books to choose from and they are risk-free, meaning you can skip any time, any month, and without charge, so you're always safe. A little side note is that Book of the Month does not ship outside of the US at this moment, which is very sad. I still decided to partner up with them as I have a lot of audience in the US that I thought might still be interested in this service. Plus, they have the best price for new release hardcover fiction. You can get your first book for only $9.99 with code Leora. I'm always so excited when I get to do this bit, like the code. So without any further ado, let's talk some books and let's take a look at this month's books. So first we have How to Marry Keanu Reeves in 90 Days by K.M. Jackson. This is a rom-com about artist Bethany Lou Carlisle, who's absolutely obsessed with Keanu Reeves and wants to marry him, and she goes on this crazy road trip following Keanu Reeves around, and she ropes her male best friend in with it to help her look for Keanu Reeves because she wants to convince him that she should marry him, but there's also some tension between her and the best friend. The next pick is The Keeper of the Night by Kylie Lee Baker. A half-reaper, half-Shinigami soul collector seeks her destiny in this haunting and dark fantasy duology set in 1980s Japan. Then we have this book by Ethan Joella. This is A Little Hope. This is a moving novel about residents in a small Connecticut town facing everyday fears and desires, a lost love, a stalled career, a diagnosis, and this book pulls at the heartstrings and provides some hope. Then there's The Collective by Ellison Galen, and in this book we read about Camille Gardner, who 5 years after the death of her daughter is still very grieving and very angry and sort of obsessed with the man she thinks killed her daughter, and then she sort of gets this attention from the secret group of women that are also seeking revenge. And this is a psychological thriller that really is about the dark side of justice. And the book I would pick for this month is The Family by Naomi Krupitsky, because this sort of reminds me of Evelyn Hugo and things like that, and that's because it's also a historical novel. It's about the tangled fates of two best friends and it's very coming of age, and they are daughters of the Italian mafia. Some books that you could also pick this month are the add-ons, and I will talk about them now. So there is Will by Will Smith and Mark Manson. This is Will Smith's memoir in which he discusses his journey in life and his lessons about family and fame. And another option would be My Body by Emily Ratajkowski, which is an essay collection the model wrote about her relationship to her body and to being famous and being objectified in the media. First-time members can sign up with any book they like, including these add-ons. So don't forget to head on over to bookofthemonth.com to check out their service and use the code Leora to get your first book for only $9.99. So thank you so much to Book of the Month for sponsoring this video, and now let's get back to the video. Anyway, today I want to do a try a chapter video where I read and try a couple of murder mystery books. Now, take this term, murder mystery, with a grain of salt. I'm just going to pick books that have a murder in them, so I just want to kind of open up the whole murder mystery genre to myself a little bit and not only do books that are strictly classified as murder mysteries, but also books that just have a murder in them, because I don't know, maybe there's also a couple of books that are not strictly murder mysteries but do have a murder and a mystery in them. So that's just what we're going with. You cannot attack me on this because it's my channel, so I'm allowed to do this, I think. let's go take a look at my shelves and pick out some books. I don't want to do as many as I did in my last read a chapter video because that one took ages to film. So I think I'm just going to pick like 3 books or something like that. Let's just head on over to my shelves and take a look at some murder mystery books. I love this angle. So beautiful. Anyway, this is my murder mystery bit of my bookshelf, or like my crime murder bit. It's like all of the crime things. So I've got some Agatha Christie over here. That's not really what I'm in the mood for. I really need to reread Truly Devious. I really want to, because I still have not read the last book and I would not know what the first 2 are about anymore for the life of me. Like, I've read the first one I think 2 times already and I still don't remember what happens, even though I love this series. It's a personal flaw of mine. Here's some new ones I am really interested in, but I think on my living room shelves there's more that I'm more interested in, so this could also be an option. The Last of August, which is the second book in the Study in Charlotte trilogy. I think it's actually 4 books by now, or maybe even 5, but it's basically a retelling of Sherlock Holmes and it is so good. It's one of my favourites and I haven't read them in such a long time. The Guest List by Lucy Foley, which is over there, is also one I am considering. But for now, I don't think I'm going to pick anything from this shelf because I'm trying to be really selective and there's some other ones I already had in mind. This is my living room shelf, and there's definitely some books on here that I'm considering, so let me grab them. This could be an option. This is Not a Happy Family by Sherry Lapina. I think this is about like a couple and they get murdered in their family home or something of the sort. The Whisper Man has also been sounding so intriguing to me, so that's also an option. This one, maybe no. I think we're just gonna go with those 2. Making choices is hard, so hard. Okay, so I've just grabbed some of the books from my living room. I'm not sure if any of these are strictly scene murder mysteries, but first we have The Whisper Man by Alex North. This one is definitely going to be one I want to read a chapter of in this video because this is just a book that I've been curious about for such a long time. It's a thriller, it's a crime novel, there's a serial killer in there, so I think it qualifies for this video. And if not, I'm sorry, but I'm not really sorry because I just really want to try out this book. Then one that is still an option is Not a Happy Family by Sherry Lapina. This is, I think, about a rich family murder. Like, a couple gets murdered in their family home and all of their children are like suspects, I guess. I don't know, but it sounded intriguing to me and I really want to try out this book. So this is an option. I'm not sure yet if we're going to go with this one. A book I got really recently, my sister gave it to me. Thank you so much, Julia. By the way, me and Julia really want to do a video where I force her to read all my favourite books. So hopefully that's coming sometime soon because it would be great. Let me know if you'd also love that. This is The Final Girl Support Group by Grady Hendrix. She knows I really enjoyed Grady Hendrix's other books. I've read My Best Friend's Exorcism and also The Southern Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires. It's a long title. And this is his most recent book, The Final Girl Support Group. And I hated Riley Sage's Final Girls, which is sort of the same plot. So I'm hoping this can save it for me. It's basically about a bunch of girls who were all the final, surviving girl of a mass murder. And now they're all being murdered off one by one. They have like a support group together and then being murdered off one by one. Doesn't really qualify as a murder mystery, but it's a book I'm really excited to start in, so I'm considering it. I mean, there's murder in there, there's mystery, you know? This book has been on my shelf for such a long time, and the friend that lent it to me has been going on like, when are you going to read it? And I'm like, I don't know. There's so many books I need to read. But yeah, that's totally on me. I should pick it up. So this is If We Were Villains by M.L. Rio, which is Dark Academia read. And I think there's a murder and there's like people that are doing Shakespeare plays. Hey, that's all I know. I just know I should get to this book. I have started in it once before, but not with a lot of motivation. So I don't really remember what was going on. This is also an option. And the final option is The Favourite Sister by Jessica Knoll, which is about some sisters in a reality TV show, and then I think there's also a murder at the end, but not really in the beginning, so I'm not sure if this qualifies as a murder mystery. God, this is so difficult. I only want to pick 3. But this is so hard to me. Like, I'm horrible. Like, I'm making a pre-selection of books to help me choose what to read next, and I'm already failing. Oh my god, maybe I should make an Instagram poll. No, I need to be able to make these decisions on my own. Are all of you this indecisive too, or is it just me? Just me and my Libra rising, vibing. I've chosen Not a Happy Family because I'm just really interested in this, and I think this is one of the books that comes closest to being an actual full-on murder mystery. And then what other one are we going with? So it's kind of between these two, between the Final Girl Support Group and If We Were Villains. This is so difficult. I could go on for ages just trying to decide between these two. You know what? We're gonna go with If We Were Villains just because this has been on my shelves for such a long time, and then I might pick up the other one any other time soon because I know I'm already excited for that. So we're gonna go with this one. Okay, so these are the 3 final books we're going to try a chapter in. So now let's head on over to a comfortable reading spot and try a chapter. So I just read my first chapter of If We Were Villains by M.L. Rio. I think this book doesn't really have chapters like I'm used to, so I just read the first scene up until page 20. So basically, we read about Oliver, who's been in prison for 10 years for something he might have done, but he might have also not done. So a murder he did or did not commit. And basically, his Detective Colborne, is retiring, and he's just sat him down and he's like, listen, I'm retiring. At this point, I don't care professionally. I'm just interested in, did you do it or did you not do it? And then Oliver is going to tell his story. And then in the first act of the story, the first scene, because the chapters are like scenes in this book, you read about some kids in theatre school and the roles they're sort of maybe going to play, and some Shakespeare, and just sort of the group dynamic. It's already really reminding me of The Secret History. It seems a bit easier to read though, which is great, because let me tell you, I struggled all the way through The Secret History, and I'm not ready to do that again. I've just finished the Atlas 6 today, and I liked it, but I also kind of hated it just because I felt like there was so much lost potential. But this video is not about that. Oh, the sun has decided to come through. That's marvelous. There we go. Okay, I guess that's a little bit better. I don't want to talk about the Atlas 6 too much, but that does sort of explain why I'm not entirely in the mood for yet another Dark Academia read right now, so I don't think I'm going to pick this one up currently. So I just read my chapter in Not a Happy Family by Sherry Lapina, and in the first chapter we're mostly just getting to know all the characters. First we read a bit about what happened to Fred and Sheila Merton, how they were found murdered in their home, and it's basically just very jarring. You're like, oh my god, a perfect neighborhood, but not everything's perfect because these two people have been murdered and it's gruesome and there's blood on the floor and it's horrible. They just sort of set the scene, and then immediately it cuts to all of the family members, like all of the siblings getting ready for the family dinner that happened before the couple was murdered. So they immediately set up this sort of tension of, these are the people that I could have potentially murdered the couple you just read about, which is really interesting. All the characters seem really interesting as well. They seem like really opposing types of people, which makes it really intriguing to me. So yeah, this just sounds really good and like a domestic thriller that I'd be interested in, which is really cool. I'm just not sure if it's the thing I'm most in the mood for now. But definitely I'm more in the mood for this than I was with If We Were Villains, just because I'm not really in the Dark Academia mood anymore. Like, it might come back, my Dark Academia mood, but it's like kind of over now. Really intriguing. I like the way the story was set up, so that's good. Hi, so I've just read the final chapter of this video. I've read a chapter in The Whisper Man by Alex North, and I think this is the chapter that intrigues me the most thus far. This is the book I'm sort of inclined to continue with the most right now. And that's also because this is just the type of read that I'm really sort of like turning towards right now, that I'm really in the mood for, just like a thriller, something with a lot of tension that's easy to get through. And this just kind of feels like that could be it. So in the first few paragraphs, we read about this man who's targeting this young boy, and he's really sort of psychoanalyzing this boy and like the way his life is going and that he's walking home alone. So that's a bit that we've read in the first chapter. And then before that, there was this sort of letter from a father to his son, I think, which was really sort of funny and witty, but also very intriguing and a little bit scary already. So that's what I've read so far. It sounded really good, so I'm really interested to continue in this book. It was more funny than I had expected, but I'm of course not sure if that will carry on into the rest of the book. Having discussed all of these books that I tried to chapter off, I think I'm going to continue in The Whisper Man by Alex North right now. If there's not any other book, that is just gonna come my way sometime soon, because that might happen. I'm the hugest mood reader, so don't judge me. So that was my try a chapter video, murder mystery edition. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. Definitely let me know in the comments down below if you like watching these try a chapter videos, and if there are any other books that you've recently read in the murder mystery genre that you really enjoyed, or book recs you have for me. And yeah, I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!